طيب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا اسمي باسل نجيب عبد الرحمن من ال CYS track Cyber Security, and I'm very honored to present the first seminar, the first workshop in the semester. And today's workshop is going to be about information gathering or reconnaissance. Before we start, I have a link I'm going to send to you in the chat. If you would please click on it so you can follow up with me during the workshop. Okay. As soon as you've clicked it, tell me if it worked or not. Waiting for the link. Oh, 1 minute. Okay, did you all get it? Okay, it doesn't work. Well, sorry to break it to you guys, but you fell right through the trap. It didn't work for you guys, but it did work for me. I'll show you how. Let me just switch the screen up. Okay, your IP address has been grabbed. I'll show you. Okay, can you guys see this page? Okay, as you guys can see here, what this table gives me, yes, 39 people clicked. Okay, as you can see, this table gives me time logs, IP addresses, and the locations of your region. But wait, I see one of the IP addresses is in Israel. Is one of you guys in Israel? Okay, guess what, guys? That's actually me, but I'm not really there. I'm not actually in Israel. I'm in Saudi Arabia. But you can just try and guess why it shows that I'm in Israel. It's because I'm using a VPN, guys. And what I did was I sent you a malicious link using a website called Grabify, and this enabled me to grab your IP, and now I have your IP address, and this is an instance of reconnaissance. Okay, back to the slides now. Okay, your IP has been grabbed. Okay, how to prevent this malicious attack? Okay. Well, first of all, I want to explain what a VPN is. A VPN is a virtual private network that will mask your online IP address, which is essentially your online identity. This will prove in handy to avoid the attack that I just did, which is known as IP grabbing and is in fact, as I've said before, a form of reconnaissance. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Just kidding. This is just an example of a trusted VPN service that I personally use. Moving on. Workshop goals, okay. We're going to take a look at the goals of this workshop. Okay, guys, so the first goal is going to be gaining familiarity with reconnaissance and what it entails. So what I want to do is I want to help you guys understand what reconnaissance is and how it can be used to your advantage. The second goal is giving you guys a clear overview that will enable you to use online information gathering tools. And lastly, the practical part of the workshop, where we will explore reconnaissance tools from Kali Linux and hopefully give you all sufficient knowledge that will give you an introduction to the many tools available in Kali Linux. Okay, now we have the first section where I will explain what reconnaissance is and how it plays a critical role in a cyber attack. So guys, what really is reconnaissance? Well, we have two main meanings. The term was, we have the relative meaning, and then we have the meaning in cybersecurity. Okay, so the term was originally used by militaries, and it means monitoring an enemy. However, the term at hand today in a technological context is the process of secretly gathering information about a target. The target can be an individual, it can be an institute, a company, a government, whatever. As a side note, you may have noticed that I've been using information gathering and reconnaissance interchangeably. It's because they mean the same thing, essentially. Okay. So the next slide, guys, is the definition of cyber warfare. I'll let you guys read it on your own, and you might wonder why I included cyber warfare. Remember that reconnaissance is a military term, and so is the case with a lot of the jargon used in cybersecurity as a result of the digital shift that happened in the 21st century. Traditional wars turned into information and progression races. Okay, so the next slide is the, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So this slide is a slide I made for you to be able to get the big picture of how a cyber attack is conducted and how reconnaissance plays a major role in it. I've displayed this graph that has five main stages of the 5 main stages of a cyber attack. For example, we're going to take phishing. For the first stage, which is reconnaissance or information gathering, the hacker would use a tool in order to gather as many emails as he can. Then he will send you and many other random targets an email with a malicious file. For this example, it's a Trojan horse. The Trojan horse will give the hacker remote access to your device. And then to move on to the next phase, the second stage, the initial exploit, the hacker is going to use his remote access tool and get access to your device in order to accomplish the third stage, which is establishing persistence. And what the hacker is going to do is he's going to turn off your security measures that's in your device. Then he's going to install a backdoor to your device. What's a backdoor? A backdoor is something that will give him access to your device indefinitely. Then he's going to move on to the next stage where he will move laterally. In other words, he's going to search your device for any important files, and once he finds it, he will conduct the final stage, which is collection, exfiltration, and exploitation. And what the hacker is going to do, he's going to use the files that he collected in order to ask for a ransom. For example, he's going to blackmail you. He can also troll you. That's always an option when it comes to black hat hackers. Okay, why is reconnaissance important? So, as you all know, most of the attendees are computer science students, and you might say to yourself, why would I need this? I'm a white hat hacker. Well, cybersecurity is like chess, guys. You have to be proactive, or in other words, it's crucial to anticipate every single move that your opponent is going to do, and your opponent in this case are the black hat hackers. Okay, so section 2. In this new section, I will explain the in-depth view of reconnaissance, entailing its focuses and its types. And this is goal number 2. The main focuses of reconnaissance. Okay, we're going to start with the focuses, and these are the things that should be on your mind and be your goals in order to conduct reconnaissance successfully. First, you should focus on discovering the hosts. The hosts are the systems, computers, laptops, routers, whatever, anything that could be considered an Internet of Things device on a network. Second, you want to map the network. For example, let's say your target is a LAN, a local area network. You want to know how this network is mapped out, the type of topology, the transmission medium, and the number of those devices. Third, you want to uncover the security protocols the network follows in order to figure out the best approach to take when it comes to conducting a cyber attack. Last but not least, it is very important to identify the active machines. What I mean by that is you should know which of the devices are in operation to anticipate if your attack will be intercepted or noticed. Let's move on. Now we have the types of reconnaissance. There are two main types. The first is passive reconnaissance, and the second is active. What's the main difference? For the passive reconnaissance, you're not going to need to make any form of connection or contact with the target. And this involves using open source intelligence. And we have plenty of examples for this type as we move forward, as in tools. Then we have the active reconnaissance, which is initiating contact in order to gather information. For this type, you don't necessarily need much technical knowledge, as social engineering is one of the most common types of active reconnaissance. And all you need to accomplish this method successfully is charisma, the right words, and a little sweet talk on the side. Wink, wink. Okay. We're also going to display an example of this type using a tool called Network Mapper, or Nmap for short, as you will see further on. Okay, so now we get to the fun part, where we're going to put reconnaissance into action with the tools. So here we have the tools. First is security headers. Then there's Shodan. Then there's Recon Ng. And then there's Nmap. I'll let you guys read the descriptions. What I'm gonna say though is Recon Ng is exclusive to Linux. Nmap, it's in Linux. It's better to use it in Linux, but it's also available in Windows. While security headers and Shodan, they're regular websites. So now we're going to have to move to the Kali Linux machines in order to review the tools. Okay. So this is, can you guys see the machine? Okay. So I'm using Oracle, the Oracle VirtualBox to simulate Linux. I recommend it if you want to use Linux and it's not your main operating system. So first, we're gonna review the websites. We're going to start off with security headers. The first tool that you want to use should probably be security headers if your target is a website. So you enter the address of the website. And before I enter the address of the website, I want to explain in simple words what security headers is and what it does exactly. So it's a website and it analyzes the headers of websites. You may ask, what's a header? A header is an encapsulation from the TCP/IP protocol layers, which includes important data about how the message in the packet should be interpreted and used. Okay, so let's see. We're going with the IAU website. We're gonna scan it. In case you didn't know, this is the university's website. Okay, so a solid B. Okay, so let's see. Let's analyze what's written for us right here, and I'll tell you what some of the things here mean. Okay, so it gives us the operating systems that the server uses. As you can see here, it uses Ubuntu, which is a variation of Linux. And this is usually a good indication because Linux is the most secure operating system, especially for servers. We can see that it has the X content type options. And what this is very important because what it does, it prevents the packets going in and out of the website from being sniffed. And it's also the website is also immune to clickjacking because it has the X-frame options on. X-frame options on. Okay. Now the second example is going to be Netflix, something I know that all of you browse daily. So this would be a good example. Okay, so here we go with Netflix. A decent rating. We can tell that there are some security issues with Netflix, one of them being the ability to enable extensions, the content security policy. So you can enable extensions. An example of extensions, the extensions you have in Google Chrome, for example, ad blocker, or for Netflix specifically, there's Netflix Party. Okay, this is a bad thing for Netflix because someone might add an extension and then he can download some of the movies from the webpage directly, which would violate the terms of service of Netflix and some copyrights too. But this is a good thing for the users because this means that you can use Netflix Party to watch the same movie 20 times over with your friends. Now we're going to move on to our last example, which is noon.com. Okay, an F. As you all can see, it's missing out on all the important security headers, which is why I'm going to save them from the shame by moving on to the next website. So our next website is going to be Shodan. Shodan is commonly referred to as the hacker's Google. You can view the many Internet of Things devices that are connected to it, and you can also see their IP addresses and the ports they're using, as well as more info if you're interested. It has a paid service as well, which allows you to which unlocks more features for you. But for now, we're just gonna use the free version, and we're gonna check out what this lets us see. Okay. So you can search for anything right here. For example, let's say webcam. Okay, so here we have an IP webcam in Brazil, and we have the IP address. If you click, you can see the port that it's using. This is very dangerous, especially because it's a webcam. If someone can hack into it, he can see what you're doing. If he installs something known as a Hydra, he can look at your webcam. He can see what you're doing. We have China here. We have Singapore. We have Tokyo, France. We don't see Saudi Arabia. But if you type in Saudi Arabia, you won't find as many results, but you will still find something. So let's see. Saudi Arabia, Rosenbauer. Okay. So as we can see something here, there's a pattern. It's usually companies. You can't find something like STC, for example. Here, it's companies who have their private networks, and you can see their devices and all that. You can see the ports they're using. And if you want, you can always Google the port number, and then you can know what this port does exactly. Okay, now we're done with Shodan. We're gonna move on to the Recon Ng, to Recon Ng. This is a tool that I bet all of you would like. Give it some time to load. And if anyone wants to download this tool, as I've said before, it's exclusive to Linux and you can get it through GitHub. Yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, never mind about the stuff, that stuff. Okay. So as a beginner, the first thing you should do in Recon Ng, because it's very simple, it's very easy to use once you get the first grasp of it. And it has many, many uses, and it's one of the best tools you can use for reconnaissance. You should go for this straight after using security headers as a first step. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is search up help. What help is going to do, it's going to give you all the commands you're going to need, you can use, but the commands that you usually need are back, exit, marketplace, modules, options, and workspaces. Okay, so let's see the first thing that we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to go into workspaces. A fun thing about it is whenever you type in a command, it gives you the rest of the parameter for the syntax. So you don't have to memorize everything word for word. So workspaces, we're going to create a new one. We're going to name this one seminar. Okay, so we're in the workspace that's called seminar. Then what you're supposed to do is you can't do anything without any modules. So you're going to go into the marketplace. Okay, so we type in marketplace, we can see what's there. And we can search for the modules that are available. Every single one of those modules has a certain use, and every one of them is different than the other one. We're going to focus on two today. One is called Hacker Target, and one is called Who is POCs. What Hacker Target is going to do, we're going to write in a website, the link, the URL of a website. And after we do that, it's going to give us all the servers that this website has. So it's very useful. And for Hacker Target, you're going to type in a website and it's going to give us random accounts that are registered in this website. And I'm going to give you more information as we go on. So let's go into Hacker Target first. Okay, we're going to load modules, then load, then Hacker Target, as you can see here. Is it clear? Can you see the letters or are they too small? Okay. So we're gonna go with google.com. That's the safest bet. So options, set source, google.com. And what we did before is we loaded the modules. Modules load Hacker Target. So enter. The source is now Google. Then we're gonna run it. Now you can see what's gonna happen. Well, obviously Google is a very big company, so they're gonna give us a lot of servers. The last time I checked, it was over 500. Yeah, 501. Yeah, so we have something extra. So you get the host names of the Google servers, and you get their IP addresses. As you can see here, we're not going to go through all of them. I don't think we're allowed to. I don't think we're going to have enough time for all of this. Okay, let's try another website. Options, set source. Let's do bing.com. Okay, now we're going to run it. Okay, Bing doesn't have as many servers. I wonder why. Here we go, 34. Okay. Do you guys want? Do you have any recommendations or suggestions for a specific website you want me to search up, or do you want to move on to the next tool? و يعني ما حد يبي يكتب موقع tryyoutube.com. okay let's try YouTube source. Okay, youtube.com. Now we're gonna run it. Now we get to see their servers. Okay, 24. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the fun tool, which is who is POCs. Modules, load, who is POCs. So this is gonna take a long time to run. You guys will be surprised. Options, source, google.com. Then we're going to run it. Okay, now you're gonna notice what it gives us. It's giving us accounts of people who are in Google, who have Google accounts. You get the country where they're from, you get their emails, you get their first name, their last name, and where they are in the world. And it's still going, it's still going. This goes at random. You can't target someone specific. You might wonder why you would need this. And I'll tell you in a second. So let's see how many contacts it can give us, or it will give us. Okay, 81 total, 36 new contacts found. So you might wonder, why would you need this? Now I have 81 victims. Let's say per se, I have a phishing email. And if you don't know what a phishing email is, I'm gonna send someone an email. It's a spam email, essentially, a malicious email. And it's going to contain a link or a file that would be malicious if the user downloads it. And if he downloads this, I'm gonna get access to his device, for example, and so on. So, but in this day and age right now, 2021, this usually doesn't work because people know about it. But you get those one or two people who know nothing. Either they're old or they don't have any technical expertise, and they're going to download the file. They're going to click it, and then what's gonna happen is they're gonna get a Trojan or a malware in their computer, and then I can hack them. I can do whatever I want. I can blackmail them for money, hold their information at stake. That's kind of creepy. You still didn't see anything. Okay, let's try another site, github.com. This is a site for programmers. Okay, I'll run it. Yeah, it's giving us more contacts. Okay, so let's go back to the, let's go back to the marketplace again. We're still in the workspace. Oh, there is another command you can do for this. It's gonna give us everything we did in this workspace. So you just type in dashboard and it gives you everything. Okay, I ran 2 modules and I ran this twice, this 3 times, and the numbers of hosts, the numbers of contacts, as in the people. Okay, now we're going to, oh yeah, I forgot to show you something, guys. Okay, let's go back to the modules that I have. Modules, search, yes. These are the modules that I have downloaded, and yeah, it depends on what you want to do exactly, but don't worry, this using any of those tools, it doesn't put you in danger because this is an open source intelligence And as we've said, this is passive reconnaissance, so they can't discover that you've looked up anything. You're not going to be in danger. You can just do it for fun, but don't use it maliciously. There is one for Twitter mentions, or Twitter mentioned, and I'm not going to use this one because I don't want to compromise anyone or invade their privacy. But if you use this one, you type in a Twitter account and it gives you all the mentions they had, or all the, or if you use this one, it's going to give you the Twitter the accounts that they mentioned. Okay, so let's go with modules load. I'm not gonna run it, but I'm gonna show you the description. Okay, so Twitter mentions. We're gonna go with info. Info is very useful when you use a new module. Why is that? Because it's gonna give you what the module is and what it can do. And it also gives you the source options, gives you the parameter, the syntax, and if any of you studied database, you would realize that he's pulling all this information from a big database that he has, and you can analyze this based on the command, the select distinct username from, and the rest of it. So yeah, you should get you should learn about database more if you want to understand how this works exactly. And this is the author of it, this is the version, the keys for it, and this is what it does. Leverages the Twitter API to enumerate users that were mentioned by the given handle, and it updates the profile table with the results. Okay. So let's go back. Do you guys have any questions for this part? Before I get out of it? What is the benefit from information? Well, okay, someone asked about what can you do with this? I've showed you the stages in the PowerPoint presentation, and what you can gain from this, it's basically the first stage. It depends on what you want to do. You have to have something in mind, and you have to have much technical knowledge in order to conduct an attack. This is if you're a black hat hacker. I hope you're not, but I'm just saying it in general. Yeah, you must have a target. You must know how you're going to conduct your attack, and this information using this tool will make the attack easier. But what if you're a white hat hacker? We've discussed this in the PowerPoint before. If you're a white hat hacker, let's say you work at Google, or you work at, you're responsible of their security. You want to know what black hat hackers can see. Do you get me? You want to know what they can get their hands on, just in case. Because as I've said, it's like chess. You have to be one step ahead at all times, sometimes several steps ahead, because you are only one white hat hacker, and there's an infinite number of black hat hackers waiting to get you at any time. So you should always be ready. Okay, so we're done with this tool. Now we are going to move into Nmap. Okay, so what's Nmap? I've explained before, but I'm going to explain it again. It's short, the network mapper. Nmap is short for network mapper. So basically what it does, you type in an IP address or a MAC address, for example, and then what it does is map out the whole network for you. It tells you what ports they use. It tells you if the device is up. It tells you how many hops as in how many devices it uses to send. For example, I'm using my laptop here. My laptop is the first hop, and the router in my house is the second hop. So in this way, if you're trying to hack a company or a small group, a LAN, for example, it will enable you to know how many devices they have, or how many devices they have by using Nmap. It can also tell you the operating system they're using, and all that. And as I've said before, this is just reconnaissance. You're not going to learn how to conduct an attack in one day. It's not that easy, and for some websites, it's impossible because of their security protocols. But if you get enough, I don't know, maybe you're gonna turn into the best black hat hacker. Oh, anytime. Okay. So let's see an example for this. Well, just type in nmap. Okay, first of all, you can type in nmap, and it's there you go. It's gonna tell you what the app is. It's not really complicated at all if you understand what some of the words mean. You just type in nmap, then you type in the IP address or the MAC address, and I'm gonna give you an example right now. You add these extensions after writing in the IP or MAC address, and this will enable different stuff. For example, if you add -A will give you information about it will detect the operating system that they use, the versions of the protocols, script scanning, it traces the routes that the packets take to get there. So if you're good enough, you can use this to pinpoint locations of people just with their IP address. And I know I have you guys' IP address, but don't worry, I'll try my best not to do anything. Okay, so let's go. Let's use an example. 1 second, just let me grab my own IP address. Okay. Okay, if you remember, guys, I'm still using a VPN. So it's gonna this will tell me, it will tell you guys that I'm using a VPN. If you put in the IP address that you got from the VPN, you can check if that's his actual address or if it's just a fake. So it's 185.191. See, now it's fair and square. You have my IP address. Okay. -A. So it's gonna start mapping now. It's gonna take a bit of time, maybe about 2 minutes. So while we're waiting, you can ask any questions. If you have a small question, I can answer. See, if you click enter, it's gonna give you how much time it needs to finish. Oh, and this will also tell you if the host is up or down, as in if he's online using the device. Okay, so let's see. It still needs some time, so let's wait, guys. It's gonna give us a lot of information that would be very useful. Okay, let's check. Okay, 92% done. So that's a good thing. We're not gonna have to wait for any longer. Service detection performed. Oh, so there we go. Starting nmap. Okay, undergoing the next scan. Okay. Okay, so it told us that the host is up, and it didn't show much of the information because I am using a VPN, and that's why it took some time because I did -A, so it took a lot of time because I'm using a VPN, and you can see that it did detect that I was using one because one of the service, the TCP wrapped, but it couldn't get much information. If I wasn't using one, it would have got much more information, including the operating system and some of the protocols that I'm following. To show you guys, I'm going to turn off the VPN for a second. There might be a connection issue, but give me 30 seconds. Okay, hello? Hello? Okay, hello guys? Can you hear me? Okay. Now I'm gonna get my new IP address and I'm gonna nmap it. Yes, all clear. Oh, yeah, okay. طيب يلا nmap 145.82.23.209. We're gonna do the -A. I'm gonna see what pops up. Hopefully it doesn't take as much time because that was very annoying to you guys. I know. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. Okay, so here we go. So let's analyze what it gave us. Okay. So it did give us this, the Huawei Home Gateway Telnet. This is what STC uses. عرفتوا لما تشبكها بحق ايش اسمه؟ ايش اسمه حق التلفون السلك مع الراوتر، فعرف اني شابكه زي كذا. And something else, okay, الهواوي technologies, this is what STC uses. عرف انه broadband router, الديفايس اللي ينرسل. وكمان okay, wait. Service detection form. Okay, sometimes it can get more information, but this time it didn't. It depends on the plugins you add in. Now we're gonna stop the practical part and we're gonna go back to the slides. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. So this is it. Thank you all for coming. I hope you all learned something from this workshop and that your enthusiasm for cybersecurity peaked after learning all about Reconnaissance. Before I take any of your questions, I have a Google forum. This is the link for it, where you can give me feedback about this seminar. Don't worry this time, it's a regular link. I promise it's just a Google forum. I'm not gonna grab your IP again, okay? I'm gonna send it to you guys, okay? Just 1 second. I sent the link for the survey in the chat. It's only 3 questions, and yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for all the cheering up in the chat, guys. I really appreciate it. Do you guys have any questions you can ask? I'll type mine in the Q. Yeah, type it in the Q&A section. Okay. Oh, thanks so much, Bas. Okay. اللي عندي سؤال يكتب على طول. Okay, what does -A do again? Specifically, what you use it for is it gives you the operating system that the device uses. Okay, how can we prevent getting into data breaches online? Okay, so this is a really good question. First of all, you want to make sure that you review the terms of services and policies of all the websites you visit, everything you sign into, sign up for. I'm sorry. And you always want to update your passwords. You want to use different usernames for every website. And it's a good thing to make sure that your passwords are not in a breach. For your, if you have a Gmail tells Google in general tells you that the accounts that you have linked to Google of other websites, it tells you if they have been in a data breach. Also, I didn't show you this, but I'll give you space for you to search for it on your own. Yeah, you can go on the Recon Ng tool. Just type it in Google and you're gonna know how to download it. And there is a module called "Have I Been Pawned," which will tell you if any of your passwords, your emails, your usernames have been in a data breach. Okay, how can we prevent? Yeah, what are the things that have to be aware while using this program? Okay, well, first of all, it's pretty easy to use the Recon Ng. So is Nmap. You're not gonna need much technical knowledge. Everything you see on it, you can Google, and it's good to have a general idea about what ports are, how networks work, and if some of you still didn't take the first network course, then you shouldn't worry, because some of the things that we took here and some of the attendees, if they're in level 5 or above, they've already took network, so they're very familiar with the terms that are being used. And if you're talking about safety awareness, you're scared of something happening while using the tool. With Recon Ng, I told you nothing can happen to you. Don't worry, it's totally safe. With Nmap, I mean, I don't know. If you try to check a system that has strong security protocols and strong security personnel, then they can know. They can usually know. But if you're just mapping a network for any random site, for Google, for whatever, I don't think that they would give a care in the world. They're not gonna see. They're not gonna go after you. You're not gonna go to jail. So yeah. دقيقة. طبعا قالوا لي اعرف عن نفسي، انا اسمي باسل نجيب عبد الرحمن، طالب بالليفل 7 بالسايبر سيكيورتي تراك. شكرا. We get the recorded video. I'm not sure, guys. Ask the coordinators. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Yes. Yes. Thanks everyone for coming, and this was my seminar. I hope it was up to your standard and you learned from it. And have a good night.
يعطيك العافية باسل، ما قصرت.